they're making a starter set for the Dune RPG. Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and order it. Wait, how much? $75? Internet, Jay here with Nerd Rage Against the Machine, and today I'm going to talk to you about a really strange RPG product, and that's Dune, Agents of Dune, which is their starter set. Now, the thing is that a starter set for an RPG is normally meant to be something more like this. This is the RuneQuest starter set, and it's $30, which is a little high for a starter set, to be honest, but it comes with a bunch of stuff. But most starter sets are basically just this, a conduit to get you into the idea of the game. Comes with dice, obviously, comes with the rule set. In this case, it comes with a world book as well, a few scenarios and adventures, and pre-generated characters. Basically, it's enough to whet your appetite to want to play the game, but not enough to supplement or remove having a core book. So, in other words, you would buy this for, again, this one's 30, but most of them are around 20. Most starter sets. But you would buy this, you would run, through a couple adventures with this, with pre-generated characters, and then if you liked it, you'd go out and buy the big boy book and start running your campaign normally. Well, that is where this product is completely different. It is $75, which is actually more expensive than the standard core rulebook. And that alone is a shocker. However, what it is more than a starter set. I'm going to take out my little 3D printed piece here, but you get a lot of stuff. For one, there are cards for everything. It is also a starter set in the fact that it does give you pre-generated characters for the house in question. It also gives you your dice, your tokens, and everything you need to play the game. But more than that, this gives you a full-fledged campaign. So, where again, most of these starter sets that are out there are going to give you like, let's say 3 adventures. If it was we'll use Dungeons and Dragons as a general example. It might get you past that first level. Here's a couple dungeons to explore. Here's some monsters. Here's everything you need to go through the very basics of the game. Once you've played this, buy a player's handbook, a game master's guide, and a monster manual, and build your own characters, and go from there. This game, however, is, first off, one of the coolest things about it is it actually walks you through the game in a programmed sense. So the first scenario breaks down how to play the game. And they just add new elements as you go. But it is a full-fledged campaign. So, we're talking, this is a few months at least, maybe even up to a year's worth of gaming material. What's more, Modiphius has also added a digital code for the PDF of the Dune rulebook. So you do have access to the core Dune rulebook should you want and or need it. Also, like I said, it comes with a lot of stuff. So, yes, you do start with your with the house in question here, and with choosing or with these 5 pre-generated characters that you see right here on the box. But you also get to build that house the way that you want by putting in the or by choosing what technologies you use. And like I said, everything is pre-done for you. This is also a zero prep product. What that means is that as a GM, and I did this with my group to see if it worked, and it did, where all you had to do was basically crack open the book and start reading right there on the spot, and you can literally, almost more like a Monopoly game, organize your pieces, as it were, and then start running. The first session is a training scenario, but it brings you up to speed on how, tasks work, and then they throw in things like the momentum threat system, which is part of the 2d20 mechanic, and they do that all together as one cohesive piece, so that you learn as you go. The scenario itself is also interesting. It's set in an alternate Dune universe, one in which the House Harkonnen gives up Arrakis willingly to your house. So you are playing the house that will be the new stewards of Arrakis. Unlike the Atreides, you are not being tricked into this, and the Harkonnens are being very well compensated. So you start the game with the Harkonnens actually helping you to learn the ropes of governing Arrakis, at least the way they governed Arrakis. And then you get in and you can do as you will. And that is where it's a very interesting and different product. Like I said, it is not just a starter set, though. It is a starter set that works in such a different way because, like I said, one, it is zero prep. You can literally unwrap the shrink wrap, divide the cards, pop open the tokens, and get people around the table, which is a shock. It's very rare that I've seen that happen. Normally, even something like this starter set, which I have nothing bad to say about RuneQuest as a starter set. I keep using this as a comparison. I don't want you to think that I'm like, well, Dune's great, RuneQuest. No, this is actually a great game. But this starter set will require you, like most, to at least read the core rules, so that by the time you get your players around the table, you know how to make a task roll, how to make a skill roll, how combat works, at least on a basic level. This is, it is possible for a GM to go in blind. Now, saying that, I will say, yes, it would be probably useful to have a basic understanding of 2d20 as a system. Whether you've played Conan or Star Trek or some other 2d20 based RPG, Fallout would be another good example. It wouldn't hurt, but it's not necessary. This literally is everything you need to start a Dune campaign. If you want, you can also build your own house and use the rules in the core book, which, like I said, they do at least give you the PDF version, so you're not out that either. But it is a good way of starting the campaign and giving you a solid campaign. Additionally, I know that they are working on a new supplement for this, which will actually extend that campaign even further. So it is an odd duck of a product, but in a lot of ways it's also a very good product. It's something that you don't see very often, that idea of everything you need is ready to go in a box, and like I said, you can start now, as opposed to starting, I bought the box, give me 2 or 3 weeks to read through the material, understand the systemics, and then bring you guys into a session 0, build your characters. This is, okay, pick a character, and I'll start reading from the core book. When I ran this with my group, they did enjoy what we did. We didn't go through the whole campaign, but other than missing one or two things on the sidebar, which I had to go back and say, okay, actually, guys, you get this benefit for doing that. I found the zero prep thing worked pretty well, honestly. And so I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, because I think, again, if you're interested in Dune, this may be a smarter purchase than the core book. Just because you will at least have that material if you want it. And, again, you've got your campaign ready to go. One of the things about Dune as an RPG world that I always feel, and again, you may have a different opinion, but is that it's a little tougher to start a campaign in Dune because it's such a different universe. I mean, Star Wars, for example, it's pretty easy to come up with some scenario where you're dealing with light side versus dark side, or the Empire versus the Rebellion. Whether you're playing, Edge of the Empire and wanting to play a more eking out eking out a living on the fringe, or a full-on Rebellion or Jedi campaign, and again, regardless of what mechanics you want to use, D6, D20, the Fantasy Flight version. Same with Star Trek. It's not too hard to come up with a scenario that works in the Star Trek universe. But Dune just has some very strange idiosyncrasies that, again, having a lot more hand-holding, I think, works, especially in this way. So, like I said, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Worth a look at least. And yeah, if you're looking at wanting to start a campaign fresh without being, if you're a busy GM who likes the universe of Dune, you could do a heck of a lot worse. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu and happy gaming.